We all know what it's like to procrastinate those things we have no desire to do, like going to the dentist. But do you ever find yourself procrastinating the very thing you deeply desire and pray about, yet never start? If that's you, join me today. I'll show you how procrastination is really fear in a mask, and I'll explain your likely 3 greatest fears and how God helps you move through each one of them. Let's go for a walk. So let's delve into fear number 1. I label this one as being very me-centered because everything is about yourself. You fear what you produce may not be good enough. It may not have the impact that you had hoped. Maybe you're producing something and you think nobody will buy it. In my case, and I'll share my little story, no one will read my book. If I write it, it won't get good reviews. All of that is a trap. And when you step out in faith, something shifts. You're no longer flying solo. You're no longer working in your own strength. You're working with God. And when you take that step, first of all, you will feel His presence. Oftentimes, you will feel His presence when you take that step because your Father knows you so well. He knows what it took for you to take that first step. And we often hear, I take 1 step, God takes 2. It is so true. I've experienced it time and time again. It's like He wants me to know He's there so that I keep going. And when you take that first step, that's when your confidence begins to grow. That's when momentum begins to build. And it doesn't mean that you don't have setbacks, but the setbacks strengthen you. The setbacks teach you, and it doesn't mean that God is absent. I want to go back to the me-centered because the reason that you're trapped is you keep making it all about yourself and looking at what you're trying to do very narrowly. You're thinking only about what if I step out here and it's not good enough, it doesn't work, it doesn't sell, it doesn't deliver quite how I had hoped it would. Release all of that. God has a much greater calling for you, and your reach, your impact will reach people that you will never meet when you put your hand in His hand and walk with Him. The second greatest fear is not having our what's, whens, and how's answered in advance. And that, my friend, is not faith. Faith is taking that step after you have done everything that you believed to get yourself to a point of being prepared to take that, whatever you're launching, whatever that new venture is, you've worked. You have not rested on your laurels. You have done what you were supposed to do. And now is your moment of truth. And you have to take your step of faith out there, but you still have some unanswered questions. That's going to always be the case. But here's what is not unanswered: the presence of God moving within you and working with you. Because here is what is so important. When you take that step out in faith, right there, something shifts. Something shifts. You are no longer working in your own strength. Now you're really moving with God. And He does not lead you where He does not feed you. And so that is so important. The other thing is the scriptures tell us that the way we please God is through our faith. So if you're saying, okay, I've got all of this, He's given this to me, but I need more answers. And that's the human side of things. I've been there too, but I've prospered far greater when I've done everything that I can do. And now it's that moment of truth, and it's time for me to take that step out. It's time to take that step out. It really is. So that is The second thing, let's recap that for a moment, that we want those what's, whys, and whens answered, and that's not faith. God shows up and he shows you what you need to do when you need to do it. And that is trusting him. When you take that leap of faith, you're no longer working in your own strength. You're now moving in his. God knows his children. He knows what it takes for you, or what it took for you to take that first step. He will meet you there. And it doesn't mean that once you take that first step, everything is going to be rosy. But I can tell you this, he will never leave you. He's always guiding, leading, teaching, but you won't know if you don't go. So take it from a person who was faithless, who has moved from being quite fearful to being very faithful. And your third likeliest fear is lacking resources. Now, when we think about resources, we often think about money, but it is not limited to money. Sometimes we lack people knowledge. We might need an expert to come alongside us. We have the desire, we have the vision. God has shown us how he wants us to do something, but we're just working by ourselves. And we think that if we try to manage everything ourselves, it could fall apart. You just never know who God will put on your path. Think about the parable of the Good Samaritan, where the two likely people in society at that time walked past the man who had been robbed, beaten, and left for dead on the side of the road. But it was the Good Samaritan that came by and cared for him and helped him, get healed and get lodging. So we just never know who God will put on our path. And I can tell you this, it's probably somebody you don't even know. It's somebody not even in your circle. And so do not let fear hold you back from becoming all who God has called you to be. When you feel that nudge and that pull on your heart, that's him. That's God talking to you, saying, hey, kiddo, what's going on? What are you doing today? Do not let, and you and your mind have distilled it down that, I'm just a procrastinator. But you're just afraid. You're afraid of that first fear of it not being good enough. You're afraid of not having all the what's, whens, and whys answered in advance. And you are afraid of not having the resources. And at each turn, God will show you that he's there, he's present, and he will provide. But you will never know. You will never deepen your relationship with him. You will never put that relationship into motion, into action, right? Moving beyond just the prayers and the words, stepping out in faith until you do. I often say you won't know if you don't go. And so I come out here on this trail and I walk with God. I'm walking with him into my next season. I'm walking into with him what the purpose is on my life. And so I want to encourage you today as we close to go grab your shoes and go take a walk with the Lord. Go grab your shoes and take your own God walk and know that when you're walking, he's walking with you.